Good afternoon, everyone. Today is May 3rd, 2020, and today I want to cover a couple different topics. So first, Warren Buffett and selling his airline stocks, expectations for May 2020, moving averages and long-term trends. So if you guys are aware, Berkshire had their annual shareholder meeting last night, and they basically said that they sold all of their holdings from the four airlines where they have investments in. And I'm not trying to be completely knowledgeable on their bank sheets or anything in regarding to that sort of to what's going on there. But I just would like to say that it's very interesting for me, from my perspective, how a couple weeks ago everybody was under the impression that airlines were very cheap. And it's not to say that Warren Buffett is a guru and we should follow everything he says, but it's a very interesting dynamic. So I think that's sort of what I just wanted to cover briefly today is who is your information source? I'm not going to say that I'm completely knowledgeable when it comes to stock markets and investing, but I can say that I'm very comfortable telling you what I know and what I don't know. And if you follow a lot of YouTubers, everybody 2 weeks ago was telling you buy airlines, they're super cheap. And that's what you should do. And I'm pretty sure throughout this week, you're going to see more headlines on YouTube videos saying like, oh, Warren Buffett sold all his stocks. Maybe you shouldn't buy them as we thought 2 weeks ago. So just be very careful where you get your information from, and don't make decisions all the time based on like what people tell you, even people like me. I'm just here to sort of have a conversation and get my perspective and show you my perspective. So something I wanted to talk about is basically what I see going into May. So this is sort of like a monthly big picture chart of the S&P 500, and I have this trend line that basically goes back to this SPX chart only goes back to 1971. But this is a very common trend line that you'll see. They'll make one from 2009 all the way to where we are now. And usually this trend line is a good sort of support zone for where the market has been going. So it's going up, it just touches it and it just keeps going up. And then during these last couple months, you saw that we went below it, but then we closed above it. And then this last month in April, we closed above it. And now we're starting this month above the trend line again. So my impression is that we're probably going to be bouncing around this range for the next month, and we're not gonna be above the recent high probably until the end of the month if we do go above it. And the reason I think that's why is because another important thing I have on this chart is this 12-period moving average. This 12-period moving average has been useful for a long period of time. So if we go back, let's just say like 20 years, maybe a little bit longer, you'll notice that the chart tends to use this trend line as a good place of support. It broke down here, the dot-com bubble. After we broke it up, we broke above it. It was a good support again, and then it broke down again in '09. And then again, good support. We broke down, good support, and we've kept going up since then. But it's been pretty good at sort of telling us where we're at. And in the last couple months, you'll notice that in March we closed below it, which might tell you like, hey, this is probably a bear market. This is probably a recession. And then what happened? Well, in April we closed barely right above it. So then this makes people, the market doesn't want you to know exactly what it's going to do. So then everybody's like, whoa, we're above it. Maybe it's a bull market, but we don't know because it's barely above it. And then this month we're actually below it again. So that's my reasoning why I think that we're not going to be above it until the end of the month, unless for some reason, we start off really strong and then we get a reversal. So, in my last video, I made this point. I still think we're going to be bouncing in this range. If we go in the weekly chart, I think there's a lot of room to fill here. And I think we're going to be in this area for a while. If we start dipping below 2,600, that's when you might have to worry a little bit. But again, you have to be just very wary of, potential fake outs. When we were in this candle, you might have had the impression like, whoa, are we going to go down maybe a couple more candles? But then, basically 2 weeks later, we're above the moving averages. So it's just, being aware and not making, big decisions, taking it day by day. So with that, hopefully this gives you a little bit of clarity on that. You have a little bit of understanding of Warren Buffett and what he did. I'm not a buyer of airlines. I just I think long term, I think there's going to be better companies out there that are going to provide better solutions. And yeah, so just be mindful of other people you follow on YouTube as well. So if you have any questions, please comment below. Thanks.